Hello Cancer friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my For Cancer Eyes Only exclusive March 2026 astrology horoscope forecast. Jupiter is waking up this month after a 4-month slumber, moving through your sign. That's going to activate some really important things for you. We also have Mercury retrograde and another eclipse to contend with and shifting tides. So we're going to go into all of this. I'm going to give you some important dates. If you've got a pen and paper ready, you may want to write them down. If you don't, you can just jump over to another browser and go to anniehelpsyou.com and click on Unleash to grab your free March 2026 star report that has not only the dates I'm going to discuss, but all of the sweet aspects of the month, all the salty ones, and all the ones in between in a very detailed report written. This is for you if Cancer is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Cancer placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. Very late degree Cancer friends, so birthdays like July 15th through the rest of the sign or 23 degree placements through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Leo report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. Well, as usual, there are a lot of things to discuss to properly give you a rich picture of this month and help you to make the most of the starry possibilities and to understand what's coming and what you can do with it. But I want to start with the thing that's most personal to Cancers, and that is Jupiter waking up in your sign. Jupiter went retrograde in November and has had a 4-month slumber. All right, so basically to give a quick overview, Jupiter moves through your own sign once every 12 years, and during that full year cycle there's a massive amount of expansion and potential, in some cases benevolence and luck, a lot of growth, and when it goes into retrograde it's like a gestation period. So we do have a very retrograde month during a lot of this month, but we've got also the energy of waking up and the tides turning, and you will feel that change through the month. So you're having this major rebirth of presence and confidence and emotional authority, where you may notice that you feel like you have a stronger physical presence, where you feel like a stronger sense of being allowed to take up space. If you've been walking on eggshells and not feeling quite right, you may notice that this is like this wake-up period from a gestation period where you've been kind of internally percolating and, just maybe things feeling stalled, but there's been this great rearrangement of your self-image and your body relationship and your identity and your direction. So you've been sort of recalibrating, reconsidering, and this month is going to help you dive very deeply into this final push of questioning the direction you're going in. Is it sustainable? What your bigger visions are? Are they possible? What you need to do to create those? And then you'll start this period of coming out of this gestation period as the month progresses. Cancer being the sign that rules family and home and ancestral roots and real estate and your inner world also means that anything that stalled out towards the end of 2025 may start to rev forward again in those areas of life. And it really could relate to any and all areas of life, but there's something very specific and pertinent about, the Cancer-ruled arenas. To add to the blessings, there are also going to be some beautiful aspects between this massive Pisces stellium and Jupiter as this awakening is occurring. Mars will get into Pisces early in the month. All of these are fellow, this is a fellow water sign story here. So transiting North Node, the Sun, Pallas Athena, Mercury in retrograde and then direct, and Venus are all moving through fellow water signs. So there is a language of the stars that is very elementally in touch with how you are. It's a language of the soul. It's a language of the heart. It's poetry. It's art. It's the quiet reflective space, the spiritual connection, the lesser seen realms, the things that can not maybe always be seen but can be felt. So there's a very strong watery love language occurring this month, and it is one that resonates with the Cancer parts of you. And with this can also come blessings in any area of life, but there is special focus on the ninth house, because Pisces planets flood Cancer's ninth house, and ninth house is ruled by Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So there's this kind of going into multiple layers of this waking up in these arenas, and additionally in the arena of the ninth house. So if you were studying something and either you were on a bender, maybe you'll start to get balance from that. If you were avoiding your studies, maybe Jupiter direct will bring you passion again for what it was that you were excited about. Anything that's involving a teaching project, Cancer as the teacher. You might be preparing to launch a course or teaching, and I'll give you some dates that will be better for that. But this month, you're sort of getting your I's dotted and your T's crossed as you prepare for bringing something big out. And you'll see the signs all throughout the month of this waking up. Optimism and luck and benevolence from Jupiter may also wake up if you've lost hope or if you lost faith. With Jupiter going direct and making these beautiful aspects with these fellow water placements, you may notice the feeling like maybe things can be okay, like things can happen, and that you can do whatever it is you're setting out to do. Anything involving publishing or international business or connections, different languages, different cultures, immigration, all of that is going to be very strongly focused on at this time. You may be planning or trying to think about planning an international trip or going somewhere internationally. A very special extra Pisces focus this month is in the time around March 18th, when the 28-degree new moon in Pisces will occur, and any quiet wishes that you have for anything important to you, dear to your heart, or any of these topics that we've been talking about with expansion through learning or teaching or growth or travel, you can make those quiet wishes or plant some seeds in the direction of these dreams in the days around that new moon, around the 18th. All right, let's talk about this shift from this very internal, very kind of stalled out, slowed down, tides coming in energy, and the waking up process as we move forward. I'll give you some important dates. All right, so February 12th, we started the pre-shadow period for Mercury retrograde. February 26th, it went officially retrograde until March 20th, and it will take until April 10th for Mercury to fully wake up. And it will open us in from April 10th through June 13th into our next and possibly best launch period for the whole year of 2026 for big things. You know, your life work coming out, your big projects, your big engagements and weddings and big sales and big purchases and big new business launches and big decisions involving work or career or home or artistic presentations. This time from April 10th through June 13th is going to have the tides completely going out, which is very different than how we start this month. All right. So right now, for most of the month until March 20th, the tides are really coming in. But on March 10th, when Jupiter goes direct, we start to feel that change occurring. You may even feel it sooner than that. You may even have felt it in February or earlier if you're sensitive. But, you know, certainly getting into March, you start to notice something is waking up here. The tides are starting to turn. Then on March 20th, when Mercury does go direct, we're starting to have more of this shift. Whereas, you know, earlier in the month and for most of the month, it's really time to just be on the shore, let the tides tell you how to direct your energy rather than trying to force or conjure something. That's the main thing that I want to convey with the teaching about the tides, is that when you align with the natural rhythms of the universe, it will be much easier for you. Life will be much easier for you, and your projects will be much easier. There'll be less resistance, less frustration when you tune into, understand, and follow those tides. And the more you pay attention to these subtle and sometimes not so subtle clues of timing, the more you start to kind of get synced up with this. So short-term projects, experimental projects, things you're just trying on, things intended to be short-term, saying yes to an opportunity because it fell into your lap. You know, all of these things are fine during the retrograde. They work really well. But if you find that you're trying to push something and you're getting that resistance, that's the tides coming in, and you may have to wait a little longer. But when Jupiter wakes up, we're starting to have a shift in the tides. When Mercury wakes up, now the energy starts flowing out, and anything you put out there can go further and wider for longer. So you'll notice that shift. Because as part of this Pisces flow, Mercury in retrograde from 22 degrees back to 8 degrees is occurring in this ninth house, you may be reconsidering your educational path. You may be considering a teaching path. You may be reconsidering, an international decision, immigration-wise or work-wise. You may be going back to places that you went before or things you did before, or trying some things on. And that is the nature of the retrograde, is to kind of tune back into these things to see if there's any work to be done there, things to be resolved, things to be cleared up, and to just sort of get the slate cleared for the new energy as it comes in. March 7th, you'll also start to feel a little bit of this cog in the wheel of some forward movement when Venus gets into Aries and joins, and not only joins, but also has a series of conjunctions, meaning it'll cross right over Neptune, Saturn, Chiron, Eris, and Ceres. And so throughout the whole month of March, Venus will go and have connections with all of these placements, making everything ruled by Venus very prominent. Love, beauty, money, relationships, design, finances. There will be tests through some of these connections. There will be confusion through some of these connections. There will be breakthroughs through some of these connections. And, but it will be a series of intense sort of occurrences that may have something to do with moving from the place of inactivity and uncertainty into action as you find your footing, because Venus in Aries making conjunctions with all of these planets is very much action oriented. But as I said before, some action may be getting forced, but there's still kind of a tenuous time where you're walking through and testing it and seeing how it is and coming across some obstacles and getting your way to the other side. And all of this will take place throughout the rest of March and it will kind of help open you up into April, where you'll be more ready to make the bigger decisions. You'll be able to see further ahead. Your bigger visions may come back into focus instead of what's just right in front of you, the squeaky wheels throughout the month. Trying to make plans this month may be kind of horrendous, so just kind of go easy on yourself and pencil things in instead of penning them in. Assume that most people won't be able to follow through with things they say that they're going to do, or this may happen at least a high percentage of the time, and you may be one of those people. So if you just tell people maybe instead of yes, it will save you the drama or whatever other feelings you may have about having to cancel or trying to hold yourself to a commitment if it really isn't going to work for you. This is just shifting tides this month. Very dicey ground. Pisces rules the feet. There'll be a lot of instability, maybe even foot issues, ankle or like more foot issues that are coming up, or things related to the feet. And energetically, that's so too, where you're just sort of trying to find your footing, and you'll notice that throughout the month. But hopefully, as the month progresses and we get into April, you'll get that footing again, and you'll start to get the signs that it's coming back. Okay, so we do have a Leo Aquarius eclipse cycle that started in February. We might have started to notice it even in January. It's opened up a couple of years of new storylines. I'm not going to go into that now, just to say that what I talked about in the January and February reports regarding that arc is also going on this month. I will go into more detail about this ongoing Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle, the 12 degree Virgo full moon lunar eclipse on March 3rd. We will be feeling that energetic even in January, and it will go well after March as well. But we are in the hot seat now with these eclipses. This Virgo eclipse is in a nice angle for Cancer placements. It's in an Earth placement, which can be, conducive at least for the Cancer parts of you. So something is coming to a head. And this is a storyline that started at the end of 2024 and will go into the first part of 2027. You can think back to 2015 to 2017, and you can think back again to 2006 to 2008 when this eclipse, Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle was happening before. And you will see that there are storylines having to do with information, education. Okay, so the things we talked about with the ninth house and Pisces are linked in their opposition pair to the Gemini house, as are the Virgo energies linked to the Pisces energies, because we live on a planet of duality, and we see that duality through pairs of the 12 constellations, having their opposite sign, which is synergistic and opposing and works together, works against each other. It's a very rich, complex relationship. But the storylines from 2024 to 2027 are going to be like this taking in of information and putting it out, learning something and teaching it, educating yourself and then doing something different with it, broadening your horizons, social interactions, your place in the bigger picture, your bigger vision and your daily vision. Writing and publishing is very prominent in these types of placements. So if you're a Cancer who's feeling, speaking or teaching or something like that, this could be coming up very strongly now. And this is also, this third house where the eclipse will be for you is also the house of siblings and aunts and uncles and other relatives besides your parents. Of course, the parents will be brought up from the Jupiter in Cancer, and the rest of the relatives will be brought up from this eclipse. So you've got a lot of family information possibly coming in, things that can change your trajectory based on what you're, finding out from these relatives. This can also have to do with a vehicle. You have to be extra careful driving and being mobile and walking when you've got an eclipse in the third house. If you text when driving, this would be a time to avoid that because there's just more chaos around your mobility at this time. If you are, near water sources with your phone, be extra careful it doesn't fall into them because your communication devices are under more duress now. And you can have big breakthroughs in either of those things that could be positive things as well. If you have to buy a new device or a new vehicle, maybe you won't be able to wait until these less chaotic stars because, necessity may require it. But if you can wait, you may have more permanence to the thing that you purchase if you wait at least till the end of March into April if possible. And this eclipse could bring a whole upgrade in communication. It could bring, a leveling up in your transportation. And it can also have to do with physical mobility from injuries. So overall, most of the month is very reflective, very internal, very much the earthworm going back over old things, very much getting ready to break out of the cocoon. And you'll see signs of that and that feeling like your wings are fluttering, getting ready to bust out. And you will be making your grand emergence sometime soon. If you resonate with my work, please subscribe, click like, and if you want the written star report that I talked about, the March report, then you can go to anniehelpsyou.com and put your name and email address in there. Just click on Unleash and put your info there. And in the welcome letter, it will give you instructions on how to get that monthly sweet and salty date report. If you want to see personalized reports for the outer planets, the ones that move slowly but bring major themes for your chart, go to Annie B. Clarity, Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, if you resonate with how I teach and you want to learn, either to help you and your family and your friends or to do it professionally, I have an astrology certification course that you can check out at beastropro.com, beastropro.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.